John says the events in the following clip happened in the middle of a quiet afternoon, while his kids were asleep, and the house was supposed to be completely still. He laid down for a nap and kept waking up to this sharp metal tapping sound, like something lightly hitting a gate or railing, and each time it stopped just long enough for him to convince himself it was nothing. The third time he drifted off, the sound changed into a full slam that instantly made him think of the baby gate blocking off the playroom, loud enough to jolt him upright with his heart racing. He starts explaining all of this on camera, trying to stay calm and rational, almost laughing it off as bad timing or airflow, until the moment the baby gate behind him slowly swings and closes by itself, with no one near it.
I was taking a nap downstairs. My son's sleeping upstairs right now, but I woke up a couple times and it sounded like metal clinging together. So the first time I heard it, I woke up, I didn't really think much of it. We do have neighbors because I live in a duplex. And I woke up again, after I fell back asleep, I woke up again and I heard metal tapping together again. It was like this constant tapping. When I wake up, it would stop. So I'm like, what the hell? So the third time, after I fell back asleep, I heard something slam. And then it occurred to me that it sounded like one of the baby gates closed. But I couldn't remember if I left them open or like what position they were in, anything like that. So I'm pretty sure it was a baby gate. So I'm gonna attempt to use my spirit box in here because I'm damn sure that's what it was. I don't know if that's what it was. That just closed. That just shut. That just shut. Holy that just shut. I caught that. I got that on film, dude. I think I got that on film. I think I got that on film. Oh my God. Oh, open it again. Open the gate. I'm gonna open it. I'm about to damn near shit my pants, dude. I'm about to damn near shit my pants. Stop. Oh my God. That just shut. That just shut. Can you close the gate? Can you close the gate for me one more time? Are you angry? I know there's some in here now, man. Did you follow me from somewhere? If you did, you need to go back to where you came from. You're not allowed to follow me home. Can you close it? Can you close the gate one more time? I'm pretty sure you slammed it on me when I wasn't looking. Can you close the gate for me one more time, please? Are you good? Can you close the gate? Oh, oh my God, dude. Oh. That is not cool. That's not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen. There's no one in here. I'm the only one down here, guys.
You can hear the shift in his voice as he turns serious and tells whatever is there to open the gate again, like he expects cooperation. Nothing happens, so he walks over and opens it himself, proving it can move easily. He keeps asking the ghost to close it, repeating the command until the gate suddenly slams shut again, harder than before, with a force that feels angry instead of playful. After that, John stops joking entirely, because whatever was tapping earlier clearly wanted to be noticed, and it did not care about being told what to do. This footage comes from a Japanese explorer on the Fourth Wall YouTube channel, who went into an abandoned house surrounded by rumors that people who stayed there too long became paranoid or convinced they were not alone. He moves slowly through the place, narrating quietly until he ends up in a completely empty room with nothing but cardboard padding laid across the floor, the kind meant to protect fragile surfaces, which somehow makes the space feel even more unsettling. As he stands there, trying to catch the eerie spirit of the house, he suddenly freezes when heavy banging starts above him. Not random creaks, but steady footsteps moving back and forth like someone pacing the floor directly overhead. The sounds are joined by strange scraping noises, and then a faint female voice that seems to be trying to say something, close enough that it feels intentional rather than imagined. The video abruptly cuts away from his handheld footage to security camera angles covering the upstairs area, clearly showing that no one was there at the time. No movement, no shadows, nothing that could explain the footsteps or the voice. When it cuts back, his breathing is tighter, and he stops speculating entirely because the house that was supposed to cause paranoia just proved it can create sounds, voices, and presence without anyone actually being there. The video abruptly cuts away from his handheld footage to security camera angles covering the upstairs area, clearly showing that no one was there at the time. No movement, no shadows, nothing that could explain the footsteps or the voice. When it cuts back, his breathing is tighter, and he stops speculating entirely because the house that was supposed to cause paranoia just proved it can create sounds, voices, and presence without anyone actually being there.
What the? Hello?
In the following video, Audria was doing her usual rounds as a security guard at the theater, just keeping an eye on the cameras, when something weird caught her attention. One of the backstage doors kept opening and slamming itself over and over like it had a mind of its own. She leaned closer to the monitors, trying to make sense of it, then decided she needed to check it out in person. She rushed to the door, calling out hello, expecting someone to answer, but there was nothing, not even the faintest sound of movement. Heart racing, she pushed the door open and stepped inside, scanning the empty room, the hallway beyond, everything. The door slammed shut behind her for no reason, but when she looked around, there was no sign of anything that could have caused it. No draft, no mechanism, nothing. Audria was left standing there at 12:14 p.m., completely baffled, wondering if what she'd seen had been real, or if the theater itself was playing tricks on her. A few days later, the CCTV captured something else in the same theater. Outside, a wooden rocking chair was moving on its own, slowly at first, like a gentle breeze might have nudged it, but then it started picking up speed, faster and faster, almost frantically, as if someone invisible was using it. The motion was unnervingly deliberate, the creaks and squeaks echoing through the empty corridor, and the security team watching the footage could only stare in disbelief. Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the rocking slowed down, easing back into a soft, almost casual sway, before stopping completely. Nothing else moved, and the hallway was empty, leaving the guards staring at the screen, more confused and unsettled than before, wondering if the theater was haunted or if they had somehow stumbled into something far stranger than they could understand. The truth is, they will never know what caused this, and unfortunately, we will not either. A homeowner was reviewing their Nest doorbell footage one evening, just checking the small patch of lawn and the quiet street beyond. At first, everything looked normal, the way suburban lawns always do, empty and still, but then something strange appeared in the distance. A freakishly small, shadowy figure moved across the frame, clearly not human, almost gliding as it made its way from the right side of the screen toward the left. As it reached the middle of the lawn, it seemed to grow slightly larger, as if it was stretching or gaining presence, then continued its slow, deliberate movement before vanishing completely into the darkness.
Hey guys and gals, how's it going? Today, I have a video that was shared to me from a friend of mine of footage captured from their Nest doorbell camera. According to them, they got a motion detection alert one night which captured the following footage. If you pay close attention to the left side of the screen, you can make out a shadowy figure slowly walking from left to right. The interesting part is, as the figure moves closer to the center of the screen, it begins to appear transparent. Here's some frame-by-frame stills of said ghost.
The homeowner was left staring at the footage, heart racing, but somehow, in the midst of the unease, there was an odd, almost ironic sense of relief, like the figure's disappearance left behind a quiet, almost pleasant surprise, though no explanation for what they had just witnessed ever appeared. Wago was exploring a location known for its haunted events, though he refused to reveal exactly where. As he recorded, the first strange thing appeared, a black figure moving in and out of a doorway about halfway down the hallway, barely visible but unmistakably there. He paused, listening, when noises began coming from a room across from him, faint but deliberate, like footsteps or something shifting. He looked around, but there was no source, nothing to explain the sounds.
Estoy acá en la casa de mi hijo, acá al campo. Bueno, acá se ve un patio, pero es todo campo. Y me senté 2 segundos acá y... ¿Lo ven? ¿Lo ven ahí? Hace unos segundos se está asomando algo y... Yo veo... ¿Ven? ¿Lo ven? ¿Se ve? ¿Ven? Mira. ¡Ey! ¡Ey! Concha de la lora. No veo nada, la puta que lo remí parió. Puta madre. Me doy vuelta, me doy vuelta todo alrededor, no hay nada, La casa estaba abandonada porque dejamos todas las cosas ahí, pero... se escucha algo. Uy, concha de la lora. No, estoy re loco. No, estoy re loco. Bueno, si vieron algo, me dicen en los comentarios. No se puede creer.
Then, something moved just out of frame, with the only telltale being a sound, but that was all he ever encountered. The room remained empty, the figure gone, leaving him with only the unsettling feeling that something unseen had been present, watching and waiting. This clip reintroduces Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter featured in previous videos, so new viewers know who's investigating. In short, he is a renowned face among paranormal investigators and people with an interest in the supernatural. In this segment, he's exploring a reportedly haunted factory, moving carefully through the dark, abandoned machinery and empty hallways. As he records, a faint whisper reaches him, repeating the word possess, but Ian stands firm, defying it and saying it is not allowed to possess him.
Did I just say what I think it said? That sounded like it said possess. You are not allowed to possess me. Absolutely not. That sounded like a deep growl on there. I will not allow you to try to take control of me. Absolutely not. Are you a demon? What are you? I need to leave. What is happening? They just laughed. They're laughing at me. Alright, I'm distant.
Moments later, a deep, guttural growl echoes through the space, sending a chill even through the camera's microphone. Shortly after, the ghost seemingly shoves Ian's device from his hand, and when he picks it back up, a sinister laugh reverberates, echoing off the empty walls. The combination of the whispers, the growl, and the laugh leaves no doubt that something in the factory is far from human and far from friendly. Late at night on the 23rd of April, 2022, at 11 p.m., a man was unwinding in his quiet house, talking to his dogs the way people do when the calm feels too still. The place had that soft nighttime hush, where every small sound seemed louder and the dogs were relaxed beside him without a hint of concern. He kept chatting with them, feeling comfort in their presence and the familiar routine, when something subtle but unmistakably out of place shifted behind him. Clip. One of the chairs at the dinner table leaned back on its own. One of the chairs at the dinner table leaned back on its own, as if someone invisible had pushed off from the floor, then slowly settled back onto all fours again like nothing had happened. His dogs froze, their ears lifting slightly, but they didn't bark, almost like they sensed something, but chose to stay quiet. The man felt that strange tightening in his chest, the kind that comes when you know you witnessed something you can't explain, but your mind tries to rationalize anyway. There were no drafts, no pets near the dining area, no one else in the house. The moment left him wondering if something unseen had been sitting there all along, listening just as closely as the dogs were. Chris tried to shake off the memory of the chair moving on its own, but a few nights later, his wife mentioned she had been hearing scratching noises coming from their bedroom, the kind that made her feel watched, even when the lights were on. Wanting to prove nothing was wrong, he grabbed his phone and switched to the handheld camera, recording from inside of their bedroom.
But wifey said she'd been hearing scratching noises, or like, she said it sounded like something was in the wall in our room. So I'm gonna take a shower, change my clothes, get in some PJs, and we're gonna go, I guess, sit in the middle of the hallway till we hear something and see what we got. Right now it's 6:52 p.m. Yeah, give me a minute. I'm exhausted too. If I fall asleep, I apologize, but we'll check it out.
A couple of faint orbs drifted across the camera lens, and then those strange little taps echoed from the far wall, spaced out just enough to sound deliberate. He took a few careful steps forward, trying to figure out where the scratching had come from, when the door behind him gave a slow creak. He turned in time to watch it inch toward the frame as if pulled by something steady and unseen. Then it clicked shut completely on its own. Sitting there with only his phone and the sound of his own breathing, Chris felt the same familiar dread creep up his spine, the kind that told him whatever was in their house had finally decided to make itself properly known. In the following video, CCTV footage from a young girl's bedroom captured something that immediately felt off, even before anything visibly happened. The room was quiet and perfectly still, the kind of silence you only get when everyone else in the house is asleep. A small bucket sat tucked against the wall, where it always stayed, untouched for days, and nothing seemed unusual until the camera picked up a faint flicker near the dresser. Without anyone in the room, the bucket suddenly tipped onto its side, then rolled with a slow, deliberate movement straight toward the middle of the floor, as if guided by an unseen force. A couple of soft orbs drifted across the camera, then another passed through the frame, each one subtle but unmistakable against the dark background. There were no pets running around, no vibrations on the floor, no reason for anything to move at all. The bucket eventually stopped in a spot it had never been before, and the room fell still again, like whatever caused it had finished making its point. Watching it back, it felt less like a random accident, and more like something inside the room was trying to draw attention, leaving behind a quiet question the footage couldn't answer. CCTV footage from the kitchen in the same house showed a late quiet hour, the kind where every shadow sits still, and nothing should be moving on its own. After the strange activity in the girl's room, the family had moved her doll onto a high shelf in the kitchen, hoping to keep it out of the way while they tried to figure out what was going on. The room looked normal in the video, but there was an odd heaviness to the frame, like the space was waiting for something to happen. Without anyone nearby, the doll suddenly tipped forward and slipped from the shelf, falling straight to the floor in a way that didn't look accidental or nudged by any draft. The impact made a muted thud, and for a moment nothing else stirred. The shelf was sturdy, the doll balanced carefully earlier that day, and there was no reason it should have moved at all. Watching the footage back, the fall felt intentional, like whatever had rolled the bucket earlier wasn't confined to just one room, and had followed the object into the kitchen to make its presence known again. Late that night, their baby monitor picked up more than just the soft breathing of their other child, showing a dimly lit room that should have been still and safe. The parents had been debating whether to move both kids back into the same room after everything that had been happening, hoping it might make them feel more secure, but the monitor ended up capturing something that pushed that decision into question. An orb drifted across the camera in a slow, floating line, and before either parent could react, the bedroom door eased open by itself, as if someone on the other side had quietly pushed it wide. The baby didn't stir, but the audio picked up a strange mix of noises that didn't belong to a child at all. Soft, irregular sounds that seemed to come from different corners of the room instead of the crib. For a moment, the monitor felt like a window into something they weren't supposed to see. The kind of activity that made every instinct tell them the house wasn't calming down, but escalating. Knowing their child was sleeping peacefully, while the room around them shifted and whispered on its own, made the parents rethink everything, wondering if putting both kids together would really keep them safer, or just expose them both to whatever was moving through the halls at night. After everything that had happened, the parents finally decided it wasn't worth the risk anymore and moved both kids out of their rooms for the night, letting everyone sleep together just to feel a little safer. The house felt different once the bedrooms were empty, quieter in a way that didn't feel comforting, almost like whatever had been causing all the activity was waiting to see what they would do next. They left the doll in their daughter's room from the first clip, partly because they didn't want it near the kids, and partly because they wanted to know if anything else would happen without anyone inside. The CCTV footage showed a close-up shot of the doll, which had been placed upright on a small chair, as it suddenly toppled forward and fell to the floor again, with no one around and no movement anywhere else. It didn't slide or wobble first, it just dropped, like it had been pushed or yanked by something unseen. The chair stayed perfectly steady, the air didn't shift, and after the doll hit the ground, the room went back to being completely silent. That clip ended up being the last strange thing they ever caught on camera, leaving them with the unsettling feeling that the activity had reached its peak and then simply stopped, as if whatever was behind it had finally gotten whatever reaction it wanted. At the Jefferson Palace Hotel, a man working late claimed that a giant decorative candle had been sitting right in the way of a pool player earlier that evening, so he and a co-worker moved it to another spot just to keep the area clear. The night wind was quiet, the lobby mostly empty, and everything felt normal, except for the small mistake they didn't notice until later. They had accidentally left the front door unlocked. Hours after closing, they returned to check on something and found the candle lying on the ground, even though no one else was supposed to be inside.
Video of something that happened earlier today. So this candelabra, this big giant one right here, was in the way of one of the pool players last night. So they moved it. It's not the lightest thing to move, but they moved it in front of this door. Well, this door usually stays locked throughout the night. But what happened is we left it unlocked. And when I came in the next day, this candelabra was on the ground right here. Now, we do have a camera right here, but you're not going to see what happened on that camera. The other camera is actually way over here in our ballroom area, aimed through here, and we caught this on camera. I thought someone tried to open the door and to get in, and they knocked the candlestick over and then shut it. Well, I go back and look at the footage, and the door actually opened by itself, which could be explained by wind, but it then shut by itself, which is not explainable by wind. So let me show you, first off, you can open this door, and it has a little stop to it. So it doesn't open, first off, by itself easily. Next, if it hits the base of this, it would take a lot to move this. Now, if it did hit the arm up here, it could still fall over, but it would take a whole lot for it to fall over. Well, let me show you. Let me open the door and show you. I can open the door all the way, and it does not shut by itself. Matter of fact, it opens like that. So the footage you're going to see, you'll notice nobody walks by. You can actually see somebody walk by prior to the footage. You see the shadows there and in that window, but this footage you'll see nobody walks by, door opens by itself, and then the door shuts by itself. So again, I can't really say it's anything paranormal, but definitely not explainable by wind. Let me show you the footage. Okay, so here's the footage. This is in the ballroom area. So I have to zoom way in. You'll hear some music playing in the background because we have some music playing, ambient music. But you'll notice the door at the very top of your screen. In a second, you're going to see somebody walk by. Right there. So there's a shadow of somebody walking by. So when I saw the candlestick on the ground, I figured someone tried to get in or, accidentally knocked it over. But that's not the case. So I'm going to go to about 25 seconds, and you'll see the door open and the candlestick fall. You can tell nobody's there. And now the door shuts. So kind of weird, because you notice in the previous video, and I've done a lot of debunking on my videos, but the door doesn't shut by itself. It was not one of those deals where it's like a vacuum with the air conditioning or anything like that. Again, I can't say it's anything paranormal, but can't explain it. So let's watch it again. So we'll just chalk it off to a weird event, and I've never been able to recreate it, but just wanted to show everybody kind of what we capture in this area.
Wondering if someone had tried to break in, they pulled up the CCTV, and the man started explaining all the ways the heavy front door couldn't possibly shut on its own, pointing out the weight of the hinges, the way it sticks, and how it takes a firm push to move at all. Then he showed the footage. The door into the establishment slowly eased itself open, like someone invisible had slipped in. Then after a few seconds it closed again with the same steady movement, sealing completely without anyone touching it. The candle's fall suddenly didn't look like an accident, and the unlocked door felt less like a mistake and more like an invitation something had quietly accepted. Later that night in the Jefferson Palace Hotel, one of the staff members was making his rounds through the long hallways, sorting out linens and checking that everything was ready for the morning shift. The halls were usually peaceful at that hour, filled only with the quiet hum of the building and the soft shuffle of his footsteps, and nothing about the routine felt unusual until he reached the far end where the lights always seemed a little dimmer. He paused to adjust something when something caught his attention at the edge of the frame on the security feed he carried with him. A door beside him eased itself open with a slow, careful movement, stopping just wide enough to suggest someone might step out. Then after a moment it swung shut again without anyone touching it. The staff member stood frozen for a second, staring at the door that had settled back into place like nothing had happened, and the silence afterward felt heavier than before. There were no guests in that wing, no draft strong enough to move anything, and the door had always been known for sticking, not swaying. The moment left him with the uneasy sense that whatever had wandered through the front entrance earlier hadn't stayed in the lobby, but had drifted deeper into the hotel, watching from behind doors that shouldn't have been moving at all. In the following video, a man was standing in his living room late at night claiming he heard a glass make a soft ting sound, as if it had lightly tapped against another on its own. He starts filming, confused, while his cat walks toward him meowing in a way that clearly shows it was just as startled. He keeps the camera pointed toward the glass and asks out loud if it might be coming from the strange African mask sitting across the room, a piece he has always found unsettling.
I just heard I swear I heard this glass go ting, you know, like that noise. Even the cat's coming over to investigate. Yeah, I know, some weird shit's happening, isn't it, kitty? There's the weird mask. Something freaking you out, kitty? Huh? Yeah, I swear it was that glass. The weird African mask, is it you? Could be the African mask. Brought some voodoo magic. What the f- Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm running over here and that couldn't... Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh fuck. That is so weird. I am freaking the f out. Oh shit.
Just as he finishes his sentence, the kitchen tap beside him suddenly turns itself on full force, the sound echoing through the room as he jumps back and yells in shock. He quickly lunges forward to turn it off, his breathing sharp, and retreats to the opposite corner of the room with the cat still staring toward the mask. Nothing else moves after that, but between the strange glass noise, the cat's reaction, and the tap activating on its own, he is convinced something in that room was trying to get his attention. A few days after the tap incident, he found himself dealing with something even stranger when he was just trying to use the bathroom. He said he was sitting on the toilet when he suddenly heard a loud beeping sound coming from downstairs, which made no sense because nothing in his house should have been making that noise. Curious and uneasy, he grabbed his phone and started recording as he made his way down the steps.
Right, I just started recording again. Because I'm sat on the toilet and I can hear something beeping downstairs, and the only thing that beeps like that is the fridge. Like, if it only beeps like that when the fridge door is open. I don't even want to look. Oh my God. What the f... I'm just gonna sit here . Whoa, did that wire just move? No. Whoa, what the f... What the f... What? Oh no. It's actually moving, man. It looks like a snake or some shit. What the f... The lampshade's going as well. They're like moving towards it. What the fuck? Whoa! No! 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 No, 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 no. Fucking hell, the cable flew over there. That was what was moving in the bowl. That little wooden insect stick fucking thing. Milk bottle.
The moment he reached the bottom, he froze because the fridge was standing wide open, even though he swore he never touched it. He sat on the stairs for a moment waiting for anything else to happen, and right then, a wire sitting inside a bowl on top of the fridge began to move in this slow, unnatural slithering motion. like something invisible was dragging it around. The light in the kitchen swayed closer to the wire as if the two were weirdly connected, and before he could process that, an empty milk carton suddenly fell out of the refrigerator on its own. He bolted back upstairs in full panic, but returned a moment later to find both kitchen lights swinging this time and a Coke bottle now lying on the floor. At this point, he said he was genuinely terrified because none of it could be explained, and whatever was in his house seemed to be getting stronger. Once the fridge incident ended, he was sitting on the couch at around 3 in the morning watching TV, trying to shake off the feeling that the activity had finally calmed down. But the longer he sat there, the more he kept getting this horrible sense that someone was standing on the staircase behind him just watching. It got to a point where the feeling got so strong he couldn't even focus on the screen anymore, so he had to hit record.
Right, I just thought I'd start recording again. I was just sat watching TV for a bit. It's like 3 in the morning. Just turned it off to go to bed. I was just getting the weirdest feeling that someone was stood behind me, like sat on the stairs almost looking at me. It's making the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. And usually I would just kind of palm it off and tell myself stupid and forget about it, but given recent events, I'm not gonna lie, I'm letting it get to me a little bit. It's freaking me the fuck out. It's really freaking me out. It's really, really freaking me out. I left this little note, yes and no, with a £1 coin. Kind of asked it a few questions before I left earlier to go watch the boxing, and it hasn't moved, so that didn't really work. But yeah, I just feel like right there, man. Me and my dad used to live in this house. It was a bit weird. You used to hear footsteps upstairs, and my dad would say that he used to feel like, what's up? What the? Did you hear that jingle then? You hear that jingle? That definitely. What the fuck is going on in this house? And my cat as well just keeps doing this. My cat just keeps walking around meowing, which is also freaking me out. Fucking so weird. So weird. Are you here to hurt me? Are you here to do me harm? Are you friendly? Whoa, what the? Nah. Off. No way. What the? No, man. No way that just moved. Loki? Loki? You need to get out of my house, whatever you are, whoever you are, you need to leave. You need to leave right now. Fuck's sake.
he left a piece of paper and wrote yes on one side and no on the other, then placed a coin in the middle to see if anything would respond. For a while, nothing budged, and he even sighed, thinking maybe it wouldn't work. But then a sudden jingle echoed from right next to him, like something metallic dangling had been nudged, and immediately after that a fast, scurrying noise shot across the floor behind him. His cat started pacing around anxiously, meowing toward the staircase like it was reacting to something he couldn't see. Trying to stay calm, he asked out loud if whatever was there was trying to hurt him. Nothing, completely silent. Then he asked a different question, his voice shaking, asking if it was friendly. The coin slowly slid across the paper and stopped over the word no. A man was checking a graveyard site early in the morning because there was a funeral scheduled later that day, and he wanted everything to look presentable before the family arrived. It was completely silent around him, nothing but headstones, trimmed grass, and the quiet breeze moving through the trees. While walking between two rows of graves, he suddenly flinched and grabbed his arm, feeling a sharp sting like something had burned him. When he lifted his sleeve, there was a fresh red scratch across his skin, thin and bright as if it had just been made. Nobody else was there. No branches, no tools, nothing that could have brushed against him. The moment it happened, he pulled out his phone and began recording to document the rest of what he was experiencing.
So I'm here this morning just to check, the site for one of our funerals today. And I'm checking the site. Nothing around me besides graves. And I feel this burn on my arm. I don't know if you can see that, but pretty deep raised scratch. I don't know what the hell. So it's a Monday morning, start of a new week. Maybe it'll be a good week. I don't see anything out of place or odd in the garage. Didn't see any prints or anything like that. So, Jesus Christ! What the f?
The footage cuts to the cemetery's small maintenance garage, where he had gone to see if maybe some animal or loose equipment had caused the scratch. Despite this being completely delusion, he barely gets near the door before something slams hard against the metal shutters from the inside, loud enough to echo across the graveyard. He jumps back instantly, pointing the camera at the shaking panels, but nothing tries it again. The entire place is still, completely empty, and the door stays shut. Between the unexplained scratch and whatever hit the shutters, he felt like something in that graveyard did not want him there, and after this recording, he left the area immediately. CCTV footage from inside a children's bedroom captured one of the most disturbing clips this family has ever seen. Runa, the little boy sitting calmly on the bed, is playing with his device while his older sister moves around the room behind him. Nothing seems unusual at first, but then she suddenly jolts and is yanked downward toward the gap under the bed, as if something unseen grabbed her ankles. She immediately starts crying and trying to resist, clearly being pulled by force.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Ayah, demi Allah, kayak ada yang nyeret Jena. Demi Allah, demi Allah. Demi Allah, kayak ada yang nyeret Jena. Bener, astagfirullahaladzim. Enggak diambil aja. Nenek di depan. Jangan makin dalam ya. Demi Allah. Bukan dia pergi. Abang Asli. Siapa ni? Kita enggak.
Runa just sits there frozen for a few moments, unsure what to do before getting his mom's attention. When she rushes in, the girl is still halfway under the bed, gripping the frame in panic. The mother tries to pull her out and struggles against a resisting force that makes the process take several seconds. Another woman enters to help, and they ultimately have to lift the entire bed up just to free her. Nothing under it, nothing around it, nothing that could have dragged her the way the footage shows. The family is convinced something was under that bed with her, and this clip might be one of the clearest pieces of evidence they've ever captured. The woman filming the next clip is called Marlene, and she had been dealing with strange occurrences at her workplace for weeks. But on this particular day, the activity seemed to escalate all at once. She starts recording after hearing a series of random taps echoing from inside the walls, the kind that didn't match pipes, heating, or anything mechanical. As she films quietly, the building's ambient music suddenly turns itself on and off, almost like someone flicked a switch. Then the overhead lights shift shade, dimming slightly, and brightening again with no warning.
Like, this is not a joke. Oh my god. Where the fuck did the music come from? And the music just stopped. Oh my god, literally no one. Oh my god, oh my god! Literally nothing here. Like, nothing. Like, I don't know what the all that noise was about, but there's nothing here. Nothing. It's insane. Oh my god. I'm so done. Oh my god, the light is off.
As she walks through the hallway, more taps follow her, accompanied by what sounds unmistakably like footsteps, despite nobody else being in the building. Marlene keeps her composure and climbs the narrow ladder to the attic to show viewers what's actually up there, and sure enough, it's completely empty. No workers, no pests, no equipment running, just dust and insulation. She comes back down, and she's starting to feel watched, only to turn the camera and realize the light she had left on moments earlier is now completely off. She insists nobody else has access to the building during her shift, and with the footsteps, the tapping, the music flickering on and off, and the lights behaving on their own, she thinks whatever is in her workplace doesn't want her there. One night, Akina and her baby Ponko were both fast asleep when something jolted her awake. She heard a sudden high-pitched beep echoing through the house, the unmistakable sound of the home alarm activating. Confused and already on edge, she grabbed her phone and got out of bed, quietly shutting the bedroom door behind her so Ponko wouldn't wake up. As she steps into the hallway, the door she had just closed suddenly pulls itself back open, slow and smooth, like someone unseen was pushing it. Akina later reported that this frightened her, but not a great deal. A moment later, it opens once more after closing, the movement so deliberate it makes her gasp. Fortunately, Ponko stays completely unaware in the background, safe and silent. Akina runs back into the room and screams as she looks toward the doorway. Later, after calming down, she explained exactly what terrified her. For a brief moment, she swears she saw her husband standing there in the doorway staring directly at her with a cold, blank expression. The only problem was he wasn't home yet, and by the time she worked up the courage to look again, the man she saw was gone. Just as they were about to leave the store for the night, Nick and his co-worker were standing near the entrance, debating whether they should just walk out and grab her keys from the back room later. The lights ahead of them were flickering non-stop, buzzing on and off, in a way that felt way too deliberate to be electrical. You can hear the hesitation in both their voices as they start recording, knowing they've dealt with strange things here before.
Okay guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when shit just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and
I'm shaking right now.
okay, and her keys are in the bag.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
I don't want to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so scared. Okay, okay, something. The bathroom light's on too.
Bro, why are my keys on the floor? They were not there. Like, my dad put them on the desk. Like, oh my god.
This is literally insane.
As they slowly walk toward the back, something on the front counter suddenly slides off and hits the floor, startling both of them. They freeze in place for a moment, unsure if they should keep going, but the woman advances because she needs her keys from the kitchen. They push forward even though neither of them wants to. When they finally reach the kitchen doorway, they realize the situation has only gotten worse. Random objects are scattered across the floor, like something had been tossing things around when nobody was in there. Nothing is moving now, the lights aren't flickering back here, and no one else is inside the store. But the aftermath is clear as day. Whatever was acting up wasn't finished until they came to see it. And Nick's expression says it all. This store has something in it, and it wasn't happy they tried to leave. In the direct continuation of their video, Nick and his co-worker are now sitting in the back room, huddled around the security monitors while trying to figure out what to do next. They're already nearly 50 minutes past the end of their shift, too scared to walk through the store again, but too nervous to stay inside any longer. As Nick walks around to show something they missed earlier, a thud happens right beside him off-screen, like something had just been thrown across the room. They both jump instantly, backing away from one another while in panic.
Okay guys, we've been sitting in the back for like 20 minutes now, and we're just watching the cameras and stuff is still flickering and going on, but nothing happened back here, and we need to go home, and this is so freaking terrifying.
We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10. So we need to like... It's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it. Stop it. Go. Go.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is...
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yo. What? Bro, Nick, did you on purpose?
I...
You fake this? No, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally... Are you...
No, wait. No. Nah. Nah.
No. We literally looked away for like 2 seconds.
Eventually, they decide they can't stay in the building, so they head outside to wait for the manager. Standing by the front windows, they keep an eye on the dark store through the glass, filming just in case anything else happens. That's when the lights above the front counters begin to sway back and forth, slow but deliberate, as if something inside was pacing beneath them. Nobody's in the building now, the AC is off, and the doors are locked, yet the fixtures keep swinging overhead like someone is still walking around in there. Nick's co-worker started saying she's done coming in for late shifts after the recording, and Nick doesn't even argue. After everything they just watched happen, it's pretty clear the store isn't empty at all. A few days later, Nick is back on shift. This time during the daytime when the store should feel a lot less eerie, but the moment he starts recording, it becomes obvious that whatever's been happening hasn't stopped at all.
Okay, we're gonna peace out for the night. Okay, we're gonna peace out for the night. This is, I can't even put the key in. This is what we deal with at Swirls and Twirls, and no one believes us because who would? Who really would? And the backlight's on.
This place is fucking possessed by a demon, so I'm
No,
quitting.
the light's still on.
Like, which one?
I don't think we turned it off though, but now the machine lights are on. Good. This is great. This is great. Okay guys, I'm here alone. It's a few days later, and it's 6 o'clock. I'll show you the time. The lights are freaking flickering again. The music is being wacky. The speakers are in the ceiling. Like, this is literally insane. And now they stopped. And now they're like, this is what I mean. Nothing. Like, I don't know how to explain this. The switch is right here. This is.
The overhead lights are flickering again, brightening and dimming in quick bursts even though the weather's calm, and the power in the rest of the building is perfectly steady. As he walks through the kitchen, you can hear the store's music cutting in and out, switching itself off for a few seconds before randomly coming back on at full volume, like someone is messing with the system behind the scenes. Nick keeps panning the camera around to show that he's alone up front. No customers and no co-workers near the switches or speakers. The atmosphere feels completely wrong for the middle of the day, almost like the store is trying to prove that time doesn't matter. Whatever made the late night shift so terrifying is still here, still active, and now it isn't even waiting for the dark. Nick seems very frightened a little near the end, and he later says he doesn't get paid enough for this. And honestly, after everything that's happened, he might be right. Here's the smooth, seamless continuation in your exact TS format, with the transitions flowing naturally into the previous clips. From the woman's perspective now, the video switches to her filming as she and Nick sit together in the back room, scrolling through the CCTV footage to make sense of everything. She explains how, earlier that night, one of the chairs in the front seating area randomly fell over, and the lights all across the store were flickering at the same time, almost like the whole building was reacting to something they couldn't see. They're both pointing at the monitor, talking quietly about which camera angle to check next, when suddenly, a strange noise echoes from somewhere outside the room. It's loud enough to cut their conversation short instantly. They freeze, stare at each other, and within a second, both get up and run out of the office in panic, leaving the camera pointed at the floor.
Hey, it's 11:29. Me and Nick were supposed to leave here at 11 o'clock, but weird shit is happening.
A chair fell. There's lights
Literally,
flickering on the machines.
there is lights flickering everywhere.
A chair fell.
It's freaking me out.
I mean, what the f is that? There's actual footsteps going on in the ceiling right now. And something just fell over here. Is anyone there?
I'm scared. Oh, stop! Stop! Oh my god! Oh, stop! Stop!
The footage then cuts directly to the CCTV from earlier that night, showing the exact moment the chair fell. There's no one around it, nothing touching it, and the fall is so sudden it looks like it had been yanked. Right after that, the video switches to handheld footage again, now from the woman's phone, as she joyfully walks through the store. As she approaches the front counter, something crashes loudly to her right. She swings the camera over, and the cash register that had been sitting up on the counter is now on the floor, tipped over on its back like it was pushed hard. She gasps instantly. This entire chain of events makes it obvious that whatever is in the store isn't tied to the time of day, the number of people around, or whether anyone is watching. It shows itself whenever it wants to, and this time it was making sure both of them saw it. A man named Joseph had been dealing with strange noises coming from his bathroom for a few days, so he finally decided to set up a camera facing the bathroom door to see if he could catch anything on film. He explained that he'd leave it rolling for a few hours while he relaxed in bed, hoping the noises would happen again. Take a look.
So I've been hearing some strange noises coming from this bathroom. And so I'm going to set up this camera to record and see if we catch anything. I've never caught anything on camera before, so I'm hoping that this might be the first time, but kind of sounds like scratches.
For almost an hour, nothing unusual happens, just the quiet hum of the house and the faint reflection of the hallway lights on the bathroom mirror. But then, without any warning, as the man enters his room after getting a drink, a dark shadow suddenly enters the frame. It appears on the right side of the mirror, shaped unmistakably like a human figure peeking into the bathroom. It pauses for a brief moment, almost as if watching, then quickly pulls back out of view as if it realized it had been caught. Joseph wasn't in the bathroom, nobody else was in the house, and the angle of the camera makes it clear this wasn't a trick of the light. Something had approached that doorway, looked inside, and retreated. Whatever had been making those noises wasn't imaginary at all, and now he finally had proof it was watching him. In the follow-up clip, he explains that people kept asking for an update after the incident, so he decided to film again to show exactly what had been happening. He starts in the bathroom with the camera pointed around the small space, proving there is nothing hiding behind the door or in the shower, before he switches the light off, saying the spirit never seems to like it when the room is bright. He then walks out and sits down on the small couch across from the hallway, the house silent, except for his breathing as he keeps the camera aimed at the doorway where the shadow had appeared the night before. He tries to sound calm, almost joking, and jokingly says peekaboo toward the dark corridor.
All right, guys, so you wanted an update. So here is the shower. That's where the cat goes to the bathroom, so nobody's in there. Nobody's in the bathroom. Nothing's behind the door. All right, we're turning the light off because it doesn't like the light. Here's my fiance.
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay.
I don't think we should be engaging it.
It's fine. It hasn't done anything. It's not really being too, like, creepy or anything. It just does. So, we've been playing peekaboo. Peekaboo!
A second later, something steps fully into view. A tall shadow shaped unmistakably like a person moves into the doorway, perfectly outlined yet completely black, as if absorbing the light around it. He gasps and jerks back in the seat before it disappears when the clip ends. There is no sound of footsteps, no breathing, no retreating movement. Whatever was haunting him had finally shown itself clearly. In the third part of Joseph's saga, he starts the video by admitting he might have messed up by provoking whatever is in his home with the last peekaboo clip. He sounds nervous this time, the camera shaking slightly as he stands in the bedroom. He explains that ever since the shadow stepped into view, things in the bathroom have gotten noticeably worse, and he hasn't been able to sleep properly. Then, right as he's talking, the sounds begin.
Okay, guys. I think I fucked up a little bit. You hear that? What the f is that? Charlie, the cat's right here. She doesn't seem to be worried about it.
A slow creaking echoes from inside the bathroom, the unmistakable sound of cabinet doors being tugged or pushed from the inside. Joseph seems very scared, and the noise continues in short bursts, like something is testing them. To prove nothing living could be responsible, he pans the camera down to show his cat sitting curled next to him on the bed, wide awake and staring toward the hallway. Joseph points out that the cat has been with him the entire time, and clearly isn't the one making the noise, and I should add that it's especially since it refuses to go anywhere near the bathroom now. The creaking grows louder for a moment, then stops abruptly, leaving the entire apartment silent again. Joseph knows that he definitely pissed the spirit off, and he's starting to think filming was a mistake. Whatever had revealed itself in the doorway last time now seemed to be actively moving things in the bathroom, and the tension in the air made it clear this haunting was far from over. In the final part of Joseph's saga, he decides he's had enough. The sleepless nights, the shadow figures, the noises from the bathroom, all of it had pushed him to the edge. And this time, he stands directly in the doorway, holding the camera out in front of him. His voice is shaky, but he tries to sound firm as he tells the spirit that it needs to leave, saying they are done with its bull and that it is no longer welcome in his home. He barely finishes the sentence when everything shifts for the worse.
All right. I appreciate all the well wishes. I haven't been getting great sleep lately. I don't know if it's because of this, but I'm going to take your advice. It's been slamming the doors again this morning. I'm just going to tell it to get the f*** out of here. Okay? All right, this is it. You are not welcome here. You need to leave. We are done with your bullshit. We are not going to take it anymore, okay? You need to get the f*** out. No, this is bullshit.
A deep, guttural growl erupts from inside the dark bathroom, low enough to rattle the doorframe, and before he can even process what he heard, the bathroom door slams shut with terrifying force right in front of him. Joseph jumps back, swearing under his breath, but still forces himself to grab the handle and push the door open again. Inside, the bathroom is completely empty. No movement, no noise, nothing that could have caused the growl or the slam. The tension in his voice is obvious as he steps all the way in, panning around the room to prove there is no one hiding. The air feels heavier than before, and he admits on camera that he and his cat have been avoiding this room altogether. After this final encounter, Joseph says they're both seriously considering moving out. Whatever is in that bathroom made it clear it wasn't going anywhere, and now it wasn't afraid to show its anger. In the following clip from the Epic Paranormal channel, The team leader is exploring an old jail in West Virginia, a place with a long history and a reputation for intense activity, especially in one specific cell block. As they walk through the narrow corridor, the atmosphere already feels heavy, and the investigator mentions feeling like something is right behind him. That uneasy feeling is what makes him pull out his camera and start recording.
Sorry, this camera's got a really bad autofocus. It looked like there was a person there. Right there in front of me, it looked like there was a person. So, let me know what you think about that. Was it just the camera not focusing on the distal part of the cell? Or did you think it was something legitimate? I want to put this out there for people to comment on and get opinions. Thanks.
He slowly moves from cell to cell, shining his light across the walls, pointing out the strange drawings and writing carved into almost every surface, each one more unsettling than the last. While he's focused on documenting the markings inside a cell, he doesn't notice anything unusual in the moment. It's only later, when reviewing the footage, that something disturbing becomes clear. As he turns the camera back toward the corridor, a dark, human-shaped silhouette briefly appears behind him, standing silently before vanishing just as quickly. There's no sound, no movement caught on audio, just the unmistakable outline of what looks like a person where nobody should have been. The jail was empty, except for him, and there was nowhere for someone to hide or move that fast without being seen. That single frame changed everything, turning a routine investigation into one of their most chilling pieces of evidence yet. In this next clip, the narrator, Ashton, was reviewing old footage from a live stream when they noticed something that still gives them chills. At first glance, it looks completely normal. His mother is sitting calmly on the sofa, watching TV, unaware she's even being filmed. But if you look closely, there's something very wrong.
If you guys look next to my mother, you guys will see this weird looking figure on the right. My dad got a package that day at 20/20/10/14, 13/32/50. Now, as you can see, when he moved, it was still right there. Was out on the couch with my mom. My sister was in the kitchen. I was upstairs, and my dad was doing a package. Who was that?
Let's get a little closer look. I can't tell who that is. If you guys know who that is, comment down below, because I really cannot tell.
Sitting right beside her is a strange, human-shaped figure, close enough that their shoulders almost touch. It doesn't look solid, but it's not faint either. The shape has a head, a torso, and an unsettling posture, like it's deliberately seated there. What makes it worse is that everyone else in the house was busy in other rooms at the time, meaning no one should have been anywhere near her. The figure doesn't move, doesn't react, and disappears entirely by the time the camera angle changes. When Ashton showed the footage to his mother later, her reaction made it even creepier. She confirmed she never saw or felt anyone sitting next to her at all. She was completely alone, or at least she thought she was. Ashton says that since discovering this, he's gone back through other recordings, worried this wasn't the first time something like that had appeared near his family without them ever noticing. After settling into his new apartment just a week earlier, this man thought everything felt normal at first. The first night passed without issue, but on the second night, while lying in bed, he watched his bedroom door slowly open on its own. He brushed it off, telling himself it had to be air pressure or a faulty hinge. By the third night, though, things escalated. Around 11 p.m., he was relaxing in bed when he noticed something in the corner of the landing outside his room. It wasn't fully visible, just a faint shape, but he could clearly make out half of a face staring back at him. That's when he grabbed his phone and started recording.
Okay, so this is my apartment, guys. So I moved here in around July, and at least I think around, it was like last week I moved in. And the first day it was nice and peaceful and everything was good, but then, you know, while I was here in my bedroom, it's nothing, but all of a sudden, lately I've been having very strange, kind of some weird paranormal type stuff, where the doors opening by itself, and that was actually the second night. It was the second night. Then, I think it was around 11. I was kind of in my office, but I was going to bed, and all of a sudden, I look at this weird looking creepy apparition that was kind of exactly around right in the same air corner, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh crap! So I kind of ran. I'm like, what the heck is that? And it had hands, and I saw half of his face, but it looked like white ghostly. I don't know what it is, but very weird. It was very weird. But then all of a sudden, it's just crazy. Oh snap! What the heck? What the heck? Hello? What the heck? Y'all see that? Man, that thing drove by itself, and there's no wind drag or nothing. Look at the fan, look at that the fan working. What the heck? Y'all saw that, right? This is what I'm talking about. It's doing it by itself. Nobody ain't there. The frick is wrong with this? And to me, sometimes, I ain't gonna lie, but the air ain't on. And it usually come on. But goodness gracious, that was just weird. But this is what I'm talking about. And then 2 days ago, I decided, because I didn't get no videos from last week when I moved in. This time I had to do the video it was on Thursday. And I had my tripod, and I was like, okay, let me put this down and see what happens. And all of a sudden, here comes a weird figure coming through the hallway. Coming through the dark hallway like it's crazy. Right in that corner. But the camera flipped the other way. It was the other way. So it was actually that way. But it was in that corner. So it's very weird. Well, very creepy stuff happened in my apartment. But I'm gonna need some parallels out here. Man, I'll let you know if I see anything strange up there. But what you just saw, I think that there was no, I ain't seen, I don't know, I did not see nothing. And it just opened by itself. Nothing.
As he explains what he's been experiencing, trying to stay calm while clearly shaken, the unthinkable happens again. Right behind him, the bedroom door slowly opens on its own, almost on cue, as if responding to his story. He freezes for a moment before forcing himself out of bed, nervously talking through his confusion as he walks toward it. He looks around, showing there's nothing and no one that could have caused it, then shuts the door himself. The room falls silent, but the timing is impossible to ignore. For him, that was all the confirmation he needed, that whatever he saw in the corner wasn't just his imagination, and whatever was in that apartment clearly wasn't done with him yet. Now the footage switches to a static camera he set up on the landing outside his bedroom, hoping that if something was really there, it would finally show itself without him being in the room. He leaves it recording overnight and doesn't check it until the next morning. What he finds is unsettling. The landing sits completely still for a while, empty and quiet, until a dark shape slowly appears from behind the edge of the doorway. It doesn't step out fully. Instead, it leans just enough for what looks like the outline of a head and shoulder to be visible, as if it's cautiously peeking into the hallway. The shape lingers there for a few seconds, unmoving, before slowly pulling back out of sight again. There's no light change. No shadow from passing cars, nothing that could explain it. After that moment, nothing else happens for the rest of the night. When he reviewed the clip, he said the position of the shadow lined up exactly with where he thought he saw the face the night before. Since setting up the camera, he hasn't slept properly, and he's now considering moving out entirely. Whatever was watching him that night clearly knew where he was, and worse, it seemed comfortable letting itself be seen. Franco was exploring a location that already had a reputation for being deeply unsettling, a place locals openly described as demonic, despite the religious crosses lining the area. Even before anything happened, the atmosphere felt wrong, heavy and quiet, in a way that makes every sound stand out. He kept his camera rolling as he moved through the space, trying to document whatever he could.
What the hell is that? Hola? Hola? What was that? Hola? Holy, I literally saw something peeking out at me right over here.
While scanning the graveyard, something suddenly catches his attention behind a large cube. A pale, human-like face slowly peeks out from the side, just enough to be seen on camera. It lingers there for a moment, completely still, before retreating out of sight as if it realized it had been noticed. Franco immediately moves closer, rounding the cube to see who or what was hiding there. But there's nothing at all, and nowhere it could have escaped to. He even circles the area again, checking every angle, but the space is completely empty. Given the site's history and the number of people who've reported similar sightings, Franco believes this wasn't just his imagination. Whatever briefly revealed itself behind that cube didn't want to be seen for long, and it vanished just as quickly as it appeared. A man was sleeping on the couch late at night for reasons he never fully explains, positioned uncomfortably close to a life-size clown mannequin he kept in the room as part of a collection. The house was quiet, lights low, when the clock on the wall suddenly chimed 3 in the morning, loud enough to jolt someone awake, but not him. As the final chime echoes, the clown beside him begins to move. Its arm slowly rises out to the side, stiff at first, then lowers back down as if it completed a deliberate motion. Just when it seems to stop, the feet twitch slightly, wiggling against the floor for a brief moment before going completely still again. The man stays fast asleep, breathing heavily and becoming jittery. The mannequin doesn't move back, almost like it knows it's been caught. He later said the clown had no batteries, no internal mechanism, and had never moved before that night. After reviewing the footage multiple times, he decided the mannequin was no longer staying in his house. Some objects just feel wrong to keep around after something like that. Nick had been trying to communicate with what he believes is a presence in his house for weeks, but things didn't start feeling serious until one night when his dream catcher began spinning on its own above his bed. At first, he brushed it off, but then he heard faint tapping sounds that seemed to respond when he spoke, which is when he decided to start recording.
Okay guys, I've been trying to literally communicate with something. Like, there's no AC on, it's winter, this window's cracked, but this has been moving and I've been trying to communicate with whoever's here, but it's not really communicating back now, and I kept hearing tapping. But like, I just want to show you, like, this is a normal day in my house. Like, my mom is, these are the rooms, my mom is downstairs cooking dinner, and these rooms are a mess, I know. My mom is down here cooking dinner. So this is what I like experience on a day-to-day basis. Like, weird stuff like this just normally happens. And okay. I love that. What fell over in here now? I don't even know. Oh my god. And nothing. Oh. Okay, that's weird. Is there anyone here that can give me a sign?
The camera captures the dream catcher still rotating steadily, even though the air in the room is completely still and the window is closed. To prove everyone else was elsewhere, Nick steps out of the room for a moment and then comes back, showing that it never stops moving. Almost immediately after, a sudden scurrying sound comes from his ensuite bathroom, sharp and fast, like something darting across the floor. Nick walks in cautiously, filming every corner, but there's nothing there at all. No animals, no open vents, nothing that could explain the noise. Growing more uneasy, he asks out loud for a clear sign that something is really there. Seconds later, an object drops to the floor beside him with a loud thud, causing him to jump back in shock. There's no one else in the room, and nothing visibly touched it. For Nick, that was the moment things crossed from unsettling to impossible to ignore. It picks up exactly where the last clip left off, with Nick still trying to explain the tapping sounds out loud. saying how they seemed to answer him whenever he spoke. Almost on cue, another sharp tap echoes back from somewhere in the room, louder and closer this time. You can hear the tension in his voice as he immediately calls out to his brother to make sure he wasn't messing with him or trying to scare him, and his brother clearly denies it, sounding just as confused. Trying to stay calm, Nick starts explaining the tapping again while walking toward a small storage room at the back of the house.
We keep hearing tapping. These walls are hollow. Whoa! Whoa! Okay. Aunt, where are you?
I'm right here.
Did you see that?
No, I heard it.
That's insane. So things have been pretty quiet, I guess not. But these walls are hollow, and we kept hearing tapping on the backs of the walls. And inside here, this is the only hollow room. This is like cement. So I don't know. Holy shit. What was that? Oh my god. Okay, well, now you can see there's no strings, no nothing. There's a wall of glass behind it. Oh my gosh. What was that?
My shoulder.
Oh.
The moment he steps inside, something behind him suddenly crashes to the floor. He spins the camera around to reveal a stack of CDs scattered everywhere, knocked over all at once as if they were pushed. As he films them, the camera begins to lag and stutter, the audio warping slightly, making the whole scene feel even more off. Nick starts backing away, breathing fast, when another loud noise comes from deeper in the room. The footage then abruptly cuts out, ending the clip mid-moment and leaving no explanation for what caused any of it. Grace was home alone when she decided to start filming a door in her house after feeling like something was watching her from the hallway. The house was completely quiet, no TV, no music, no open windows, which only made the tension worse. She keeps the camera steady, half joking but clearly nervous, waiting to see if anything happens at all.
Oh my god, what is happening? Can't move it again. Oh shit, oh shit, oh my god. Oh dear, oh dear, oh my. Oh god, can you close it please? Okay.
After a few seconds, the door slowly cracks open on its own before gently pulling itself shut again. Grace gasps and immediately tells whatever it is to do it again, her voice shaking as she backs up slightly. This time, the response is far more unsettling. The door begins to open much wider, nearly 3/4 of the way, inch by inch, as if something unseen is standing on the other side, carefully pushing it open. It pauses for a moment, almost like it's aware of her watching, then slowly closes itself once more. There's no rush of air, no footsteps, no explanation. After the clip ends, Grace said she left the room immediately and didn't go back down that hallway for the rest of the night. She later admitted this was the first time something in her house seemed to directly respond to her voice, and that realization scared her more than the door moving on its own. In this next clip, Leighton and 2 of his friends were just messing around outside, filming casually while throwing a bouncy ball back and forth. It's light-hearted at first, nothing serious at all, until one of them accidentally loses control of the ball and it rolls off out of view. The friend who dropped it jogs over to grab it while Leighton keeps the camera pointed in that direction.
You the camera ready?
Yeah, dude, I got the camera, right?
I'm gonna knock the ball out of that guy's hand.
Alright, go.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
What? Oh shit, what the hell?
As the kid turns the corner to retrieve the ball, something completely unexpected happens. Out of nowhere, what looks like a human hand suddenly reaches out from around the corner and touches him. It's quick, but clear enough to see, fingers brushing against his arm before instantly pulling back out of sight. The kid jumps in shock and stumbles backward, yelling as Leighton instinctively rushes forward with the camera. He whips around the corner where the hand came from, expecting to see someone hiding there, but there's nothing. No one standing there. No place anyone could have ducked into fast enough. The area is completely empty. The moment was so sudden and so physical that it left all three of them panicking, trying to figure out how a hand could appear without a body attached to it. Whatever touched him wasn't visible for more than a split second, but it was real enough to send them all running moments later. In the following video, Tim, a night security guard who's worked at the same building for years, finally decides to start recording after insisting the place has always felt off. He mentions that strange things usually happen during power outages, and unfortunately for him, this night was no exception.
Hello?
As he films one of the mannequins standing motionless in the dark hallway, faint noises suddenly echo behind him. Tim turns around, shining his flashlight just in time to catch something truly unsettling. An uncanny, human-shaped figure is seen in the darkness, its arms stretched out unnaturally, and its face completely swallowed by shadow. The moment Tim calls out hello, trying to make sense of what he's seeing, the figure silently slides backward and disappears into the pitch black. He quickly swings the flashlight toward where it stood, but there's nothing there at all. No doors, no hiding spots, just empty space. As if that wasn't enough, another noise comes from behind him, back near the mannequin he was filming moments earlier. Tim slowly walks back toward it, clearly shaken, and without warning, he punches the mannequin. The blackout, the figure, and the timing make this one of the creepiest encounters he's ever recorded, and it's hard to argue that something wasn't watching him that night. Smith had been completely alone in the house when they first heard something weird, a clear voice calling their name from downstairs. At first they ignored it, telling themselves it was just their imagination, but the feeling wouldn't go away. Eventually, they grabbed their phone and started recording before heading down to see what was going on.
sick of this shit now.
The camera shows them entering the kitchen first, slowly panning around to prove everything looks normal. The lights are on, nothing is broken, nothing out of place. Still uneasy, they walk into the living room and sit down, trying to calm themselves and listen. That's when it happens. A few loud bangs echo through the house, close enough to make them jump. Instinctively, they rush back into the kitchen, filming the entire way. When they step inside, the scene has completely changed. The fridge door is wide open, even though it was clearly closed moments earlier, and one of the kitchen chairs is now sitting up on the counter, balanced in a way that makes no sense. Smith stops dead, breathing heavy, clearly realizing this wasn't just a noise or a trick of the mind. Whatever called their name had followed them downstairs, and it wanted to be noticed. Back in the living room, Smith keeps the camera aimed at a teddy bear, clearly shaken, but determined to document whatever is happening next. The room is quiet again, almost too quiet, and he slowly pans across the furniture, trying to show nothing has changed since the kitchen incident. That's when the camera settles on a teddy bear standing by the TV, dressed in a small Batman outfit, something that had been there for years without ever moving. As he watches, the bear begins to shift on its own, not falling suddenly, but slowly tipping forward, inch by inch, as if an unseen hand is pushing it. Smith gasps and steps back, in disbelief, as the bear leans further and further. The clip cuts just before it hits the floor, but the movement is unmistakable, deliberate, and controlled. After everything that already happened downstairs, this felt like confirmation that whatever was in the house wasn't done yet, and was now moving things right in front of him. The basement is the most likely place in a house to be haunted, and after what happened the night before, Smith was already on edge when things started again the very next day. He starts filming as loud, heavy banging echoes from the basement door, each knock slow and deliberate, like someone was trying to be let in. The camera stays fixed on the door as the banging continues, filling the hallway with a deep, hollow sound. Smith takes a shaky breath and glances away for just a few seconds, clearly debating whether to leave or keep watching. In that brief moment when the camera isn't on it, the basement door suddenly swings open on its own, slowly but completely, revealing the dark stairwell below. There's no rush of air, no one on the other side, just an open doorway leading straight down into darkness. Smith freezes, stunned, then steps closer to show there's nothing behind the door and nothing forcing it open. After the fridge incident, the chair on the counter, and the teddy bear moving on its own, this felt like escalation. Whatever was in the house wasn't just making noise anymore. It was opening doors, almost inviting him to come closer. This one takes place in a house David and his wife already believe is haunted, and that detail matters because she has known about it for a long time, while David still treats it like something he can face head-on. One night they hear rapid banging coming from the attic, sharp and aggressive enough that it immediately feels intentional rather than structural noise. David grabs the tool meant to open it and pulls the ladder down, and as soon as it drops, the sound changes into what feels like stomping above them. Heavy movement pacing back and forth until it suddenly stops. David decides to climb up anyway, trying to stay calm, but right as he reaches the top, another loud bang hits, and the attic erupts with scattered noises all around him.
Então é assim, eu estou a filmar, eu estou farta de ouvir barulhos. Já há alguns dias que ando a ouvir barulhos e não consigo nunca perceber de onde é que eles vêm. Eu estou-me a passar porque eu não consigo dormir, eu estou cheia de medo e eu decidi hoje filmar isto porque eu tenho a certeza que se passa alguma coisa e se acontecer alguma coisa vai ficar gravado. Opa! Opa! Oh, Nuno! Eu estou a dar... Calma. Fica opa. Opa! Opa! Porquê que abriste isso? Opa, ainda por cima não foste tu que apagaste a luz. Desculpa. Vais fazer, tu vais lá acima sozinho. Eu vou lá contigo. Opa, tenha cuidado. Opa! Opa! Não, tu não vais lá sozinho. Ai. Opa, olha, vai lá tu, toma, eu fico aqui, desculpa, não consigo, desculpa, eu estou cheia de medo, a sério, vai lá tu, mas tem cuidado, está bem? Olha aí, opa, tu estás a ouvir?
Espera.
Tem cuidado, vai falando comigo, falas.
Está-se bem. Calma. Estás bem?
Não, vá lá, está tudo escuro aqui abaixo, despacha-te.
Pá, não vejo nada. Aqui me parece. Estás bem aí, Joana? Caralho, o que é isto, meu? Não, nada, está tudo bem, está tudo bem.
Estás bem?
Estou bem.
Esquece.
É?
Chamamos a polícia, esquece, anda para baixo.
Chamamos nada à polícia. Não se vê nada aqui, meu.
Anda para baixo, esquece, fica-te uma coisa para lá. Anda lá, eu estou aqui à tua espera, vou ter que dar a descer.
O que é aquilo? Espera aí.
Não vais?
Não. Boca.
Anda lá, vá. Vamos para a minha beira, anda lá. Anda lá, por favor, eu tenho que dar a pessoa minha, anda lá. Eu ajudo a descer, anda lá. Anda lá, anda. Eu ajudo. Espera aí, cuidado. Anda. Espera aí, eu ajudo a descer. O que é que tu viste? Olha, mas fecha isso, fecha. Fecha isso, mas não viste alguma coisa? O que é que te aconteceu? Pá, vamos chamar a polícia. Isto não é normal, ou vai, eu ando a ouvir isto há dias.
His wife hands the camera to him so he can film while he looks around, and even though the sounds continue, he cannot see anything unusual at first. Then a bag sitting beside a stack of boxes behind him begins to shake, something we do not see but clearly hear, and the movement startles him enough that he spins around and immediately starts climbing back down. As he reaches the bottom, an uncanny figure briefly peeks down from the attic opening before hiding again, completely unnoticed by either of them as David shuts the attic door and the house falls quiet. A man named Roger was using a public restroom when something genuinely unsettling happened in the middle of an otherwise normal moment. He had just flushed the toilet and was getting ready to leave when he suddenly heard the sound of a stall door opening and then closing somewhere nearby. Thinking someone else had walked in, he listened for footsteps, but there were none. That's when he pulled out his phone and started recording. He lowers the camera toward the bottom of the cubicle wall, trying to catch movement beneath the stalls, but the restroom looks completely empty. No shoes, no shadows, nothing at all. Still uneasy, Roger decides to step out of the cubicle to check the door directly. As soon as he turns the corner and points the camera at it, The stall door violently slams shut on its own, echoing through the restroom. Roger yelps in shock and immediately runs out, clearly terrified. There was no one else inside, no breeze, no automatic mechanism that could explain it. Whatever opened and closed that door waited until he was right there to make itself known. In the following piece of footage, taken from a toddler monitor late at night, a parent captures something that still hasn't been explained. The camera is pointed directly at the crib, showing a close-up of their toddler sleeping peacefully. Nothing unusual at first. The room is dim, lit only by the soft glow of the baby cam, and the house is completely quiet.
What the f is that? That's so weird. Well! I'll kill you, son of a...
If you look closely, right beside the toddler, another head can clearly be seen resting in the crib. It looks like a second child, partially obscured, facing the camera. Moments later, the figure slightly shifts its small hand as it moves, just enough to confirm it isn't a shadow or camera glitch. The man watching the monitor panics and immediately runs toward the bedroom, still filming as he calls out. When he reaches the crib, there's nothing there at all. The room is dark, the toddler is alone, and there's no possible way another child could have been there unnoticed. After the recording ends, he insists he checked every corner of the room and the house, but found no sign of anyone else. The footage has since got many views, with many people questioning whether the camera picked up a glitch, a reflection, or something far more unsettling watching over the child that night. Andre, a young man living alone, explained that strange noises around his house were never something he really paid attention to, until one night when things escalated fast. He was sitting at his keyboard, casually practicing an impressive piece, completely focused, when a sudden clattering sound cuts through the music. He stops playing instantly, and then strange things start to happen.
Hallo?
The sound clearly didn't come from the keyboard, so he sets it down and walks into the kitchen to investigate. On the floor, a pillow from the living room is lying awkwardly, along with several other items that look like they've been knocked down all at once. As he starts picking them up, something happens behind him. A loud sliding noise echoes from the other room, and at the same time, A few keys on his keyboard press themselves, playing random notes with no one touching it. Andre slowly turns back toward the keyboard, his breathing getting heavier as he realizes the mess has spread. The trash bin has completely tipped over, spilling everything across the floor. Then it gets worse. From the living room, a sound that almost resembles a woman's voice can be heard, faint but distinct, followed by the TV turning itself on. The screen glitches with static, lagging unnaturally, before suddenly shutting off on its own. Just seconds later, the door near Andre slams violently, making him jump as the footage cuts out. Whatever caused that surge of activity came on all at once, and judging by his panic, it was the last thing he expected when he sat down to play music. Late one night, Jake was filming when he ran into his sister's bedroom holding a bottle of hot sauce, clearly not expecting anything unusual to happen. The camera swings toward the bed as he laughs, but his tone changes almost immediately when something strange catches his eye. Sitting right beside his sister is a teddy bear, and as soon as he speaks, it slowly tips over on its own. Jake reacts first, telling her the teddy just fell, but she barely looks up and calmly asks, "What?" as if nothing happened. That's when something crazy happens though. Take a look.
Alright, Paola, hot sauce or say something embarrassing. Paola, the bear just moved.
What?
Oh my god!
That's when things escalate fast. Without anyone touching it, the teddy suddenly jerks and slides unnaturally toward the middle of the bed. It doesn't fall naturally or roll. It looks pushed, almost like something invisible forced it forward in a single, deliberate movement. The shift is quick, aggressive, and completely out of place. Both of them instantly panic, yelling as Jake pulls the camera back. There's no laughter anymore, no explanation offered, just raw fear. They scramble off the bed and run out of the room as the footage cuts abruptly. Afterward, viewers pointed out how unnatural the movement was, especially compared to the first fall. Jake later claimed neither of them touched the teddy and that nothing like that had ever happened in that room before, making this clip one of the most unsettling moments they've ever caught on camera. There's a lot of scary things you can find in your garden, but this exceeds all of them. Joseph was outside late at night, standing in his backyard and filming because he said something had been watching him from the far edge of the property for several nights in a row. At first, it's hard to make out what he's talking about, just trees in the distance, but his breathing already sounds tense, like he knows exactly where to point the camera. Eventually, he zooms in on it and passes the fear to us all.
Look, dude, she couldn't find her way over there, so now she's over here. She's back in here trying to find a way into my property. Do you see her? Look at that face. Oh my god. It's right there staring at me. Dude, how scary is that shit? Oh my god, dude. What the f? She's crawling through all this shit, bro.
As the footage continues, a pale, unnaturally still face becomes visible deep in the garden, staring directly toward him without moving. It doesn't blink, doesn't shift, just stays there in a way that feels completely wrong. Halfway through the clip, a faint glowing orb appears near the face and drifts outward, almost as if it's coming from it. Joseph reacts immediately, stepping back and narrating in disbelief, sounding more exhausted than surprised, like this isn't the first time it's happened. He doesn't chase it or get closer. He just keeps filming, clearly shaken. After posting the video, Joseph explained that the face has appeared multiple times in the opposite end of the garden, always watching, never approaching. Some people say it could be a trick of the light or an animal, but the consistency of the face, the orb, and Joseph's reaction make this one hard to brush off. Whatever was out there didn't seem lost. It seemed like it knew exactly where it was and what fear it was instilling. In this next story, a man who had been working the night shift at a hotel for several years explains the creepiest thing that's ever happened to him on the job. He says he'd never experienced anything paranormal there before, which is why this moment completely shook him.
So I've been working at a hotel for, a couple years now. And I've never had anything like this happen. And I'm borderline freaked out, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm sitting down here at the front desk, right? And I'm on the computer and I'm just typing away. Phone rings. I don't look at the phone. I just answer it. And, I say my whole little spiel or whatever. And it's just silent. The phone is just silent. After about, 3 or 4 seconds, I say hello again. Nothing. And right before I go to hang up, it sounds like I'm hearing somebody just like breathing on the other line. I just hang up and I'm like, okay, whatever. I ain't thinking twice about it. But then I go and look at the caller ID and let me show y'all something. All right. That's the room that called. Okay. Peep that. 505. Now let me show y'all something. I'm gonna go over here to the elevator so y'all know I'm not bullshitting. And I'm gonna turn the camera around. How many floors do you see here? Because I'm pretty sure we don't have a room 505 nor a 5th floor. This would be the night I quit. I don't do that shit. I don't do that shit.
His story goes like this. He's sitting alone at the front desk late at night, typing away on the computer, when the phone suddenly rings. He answers it normally, but on the other end there's nothing, just silence. After a few seconds, he says hello again, assuming it might be a bad connection, but there's still no response. Just as he's about to hang up, he hears something that makes his stomach drop. Slow, heavy breathing coming through the receiver. Without thinking, he hangs up immediately and checks the caller ID, expecting to see a guest room number. Instead, it says the call came from room 505. Confused and unsettled, he grabs his phone and walks over to the elevator to prove to himself it's nothing. He shows the buttons clearly on camera, and there is no 5th floor at all. The hotel doesn't even have a room 505. The realization hits him in real time, and you can hear his voice change as it sinks in that whatever was breathing on the other end of the line didn't come from anywhere that should exist. Who knows what caused this? Two friends were exploring an abandoned flat complex late at night, filming as they moved through the outside area to document the place for themselves. The building had been empty for years, with broken windows, peeling paint, and an eerie silence that made every footstep echo. As they were scanning the upper floors from the outside with a flashlight, one of them, a guy named James, suddenly stopped. He pointed the camera toward a very specific window, saying something had moved.
Just watch this.
Isn't it? Future in hand.
430 abandoned flats, and there is something in the window.
Open. Yo. You see movement then? No. Move the light. Yo. What the fuck is that?
The curtains inside that flat were moving slowly, swaying back and forth even though there was no wind, and every other window in the building was completely still. James zoomed in, trying to get a clearer look, when an unnerving face suddenly appeared behind the glass. It didn't move like a normal person stepping forward. It was already there, pale and distorted, staring straight back at them from the darkness. The two friends froze, in disbelief, as the face lingered for a split second before fading back into the shadows and disappearing entirely. After that, the curtain stopped moving. James later emphasized that there was no one else in the complex, and no way anyone could have known exactly where they were standing. Against their better judgment, they decided to go inside the building to see if there was any chance someone else was actually there. The moment they stepped into the block, it was clear the place hadn't been touched in years. Random stuff was scattered everywhere, rubbish piled up in corners, and the air felt stale and heavy. They slowly made their way toward the flat they'd been filming from outside, keeping the camera rolling the entire time.
We both go inside the building block to see who was in the window. What happens when we get in is beyond strange.
Hello?
Just what?
Which one is it? Check this. I can hear somebody. You know, there's dinging and beeping and... What the... Is that a window there? Yo. Hello? Isn't it? Hello? Yo! Who the fuck is it?
To be continued.
As they reach the room they believe the face came from, the guy behind the camera pauses and says he can hear something moving nearby. The area itself looks empty of life, stripped bare apart from debris on the floor. Then suddenly, a sharp metallic sound rings out, like a metal pin or small object dropping onto concrete. They both freeze. A few seconds later, it happens again, this time louder and closer, echoing down the corridor. Their tone changes instantly, voices dropping as they scan the room and nearby hallways, but there's nothing and no one in sight. James calls out a hesitant hello, his voice bouncing off the empty walls. Almost immediately after, another noise answers back from somewhere deeper in the building, but the source stays completely hidden. Whatever they saw in that window didn't stay behind the glass, and at that point, the exploration stopped feeling like curiosity and started feeling like they weren't welcome there at all. Subscribe as this exploration may continue in a future video. In the following video, a man who was home alone heard aggressive tapping, so started to film. The tapping kept going, slow at first, then steadily quicker, echoing from a room just out of view of the camera. He pauses, listening, clearly trying to convince himself it's nothing, before finally calling out a hesitant hello. The second he does, everything stops, dead silent. After a few seconds of waiting, he moves toward the basement stairs where the sound seemed to be coming from and starts descending, one step at a time.
Hello?
When he reaches the bottom, his camera pans across the room and reveals every single drawer hanging wide open, with a few objects scattered across the floor as if they'd been thrown. He barely has time to process it before, out of nowhere, a piece of cutlery suddenly launches itself out of a cupboard, clattering across the room. He panics instantly and sprints back up the stairs, the camera shaking wildly. As he reaches the top, you can hear something else running behind him, footsteps charging up the stairs just seconds after he does. The video cuts shortly after, and there were never any updates posted. Whatever was down there clearly didn't want him staying, and all anyone can do now is hope he got out safely.